Kia ora koutou, Jen Tyson back with another YouTube interview, and this time I have brought none other than our past president and president of NAWIC and instrumental in Auckland NAWIC chapter work, Jenny Parker. So welcome, Jenny.
Thank you very much, Jen, and not to mention life member, which I am very proud and privileged about. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Life member for life. You're never leaving us. That's
never
exciting.
That's for sure.
So, Jenny, what we've brought you on today to do is share just a snippet, because we've all got massive stories, of the most recent part of your story, which I think is really exciting and really inspiring. So you left, doing what you were doing and kind of the bigger work in NAWIC around a year ago. So why don't you give us a snippet of the amazing, courageous things you've been doing?
Thank you, Jen. Well, just for those people who don't know who I am, and a refresher of those people who do, I have an absolute passion for supporting women in the construction sector, and that was birthed many years ago. Myself and 5 other incredible women launched the NAWIC Auckland chapter, and fast forward that 8-9 years ago, and then I became national president thanks to my peers and colleagues who thought that I had something else to say. You can't keep me quiet for long, and really enjoyed the platform which I held, and I revered that platform because it allowed me to be a voice for women in the construction sector. And that encompassed everybody from your women in trades through to your people behind the scenes, your quantity surveyors, your drafts people, even your marketing and those kind of things, which are so very critical to our industry as a whole. So from that perspective, NAWIC's always had a very special place in my heart. And I was working for an awesome company who supported me 100%, and they do still support me. And about a year ago or so, during lockdown, I sat in the spa pool, as you do. So I'm going, what am I going to do now? And my partner and I spoke about it sincerely. And I thought to myself, well, I love NAWIC. I'm no longer part of the presidency side of things. I've got to carry these legacies on. What am I going to do? And I thought, well, I've spent a lot of time standing on the podium in front of thousands of people, sometimes hundreds of people, at the NAWIC Awards, at the home show and so on, telling girls and women to step outside their comfort zones and don't talk just the talk, but walk the walk. And I wanted more action and less talking. And that's been my biggest mantra and my biggest frustration, is that talking to employers and they go, oh yeah, no, we're going to diversify, we're going to get more women on board, we're going to think laterally. And I thought, well, what better way to demonstrate it than doing it myself? So I said goodbye to my company tearfully, but very excitedly, and I started my own my own maintenance and repairs company called She Property Care.
Woo, yeah, I was going to say, show us the sweatshirt, and behind you there's the flag, like sitting, yeah, woo.
Like supporting women in trade. So She was born, and I decided to call it She because there's nothing more than that, just that she can do anything, full stop.
Nice.
And it was a hard challenge for me, Jen, because I thought, all right, well, how do I back myself up then? If I'm going to do something, how am I going to back myself up and start a business and to inspire girls and women around me to not only make that leap, but make it leap successfully? And it's scary. It is scary out there. But what I've discovered is that with the wonderful support of my friends, of my family, I bounced everything off everybody, you included, Jen, like, help me, please. So asking for help was a massive thing, and not being afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a silly question, and the only silly thing is not asking a question.
Yeah, true.
So I spent a lot of lockdown developing a website, developing my brand. What do I want to achieve? What is my long-term goal? What do I want to do? And I just want to inspire other people, other women, to take that risk, because actually it's not a risk, because you're so well supported by people around you that you actually go, wow, I never thought that they would come up and be alongside me. So
Yeah.
I took the risk. I developed my company, and I put my number and my name on a women's only careers directory website, and I got my first lead. And it was an awesome couple, yeah. And they asked me to mow their lawns for them. So I thought, okay. So I got my very old lawnmower, which my son had taken apart and put back together again many, many times. And I took it out there and I tried to mow the lawn. And Russell came to my rescue and it broke down. So always have that kind of backup and support person. Russell's just been incredible inspiration to me, and he's also a member of NAWIC as well. So you know, we work really well together, and I'm encouraged and supported every day. Yeah,
it's so exciting. It's exciting to hear how you use the networks, because I think that often people underestimate the power of the networks. So NAWIC is about networking and supporting other women, and women supporting each other, and you know, those feelings of being alone with challenges. But actually it's about the times when you want to leap and you're looking around for, you know, who's in my tribe that I can rely on, that can give me the encouragement, ideas, and knowledge that I don't have, or understanding or perspective. So I loved how you brought that in, because I think people underestimate the power of building your networks and investing in your networks.
absolutely.
And you certainly did that. You know, not everybody's going to do it at a presidential level, but even just being part of an active chapter and just going along to some of the events and meeting other women and keeping those connections and connecting online. I mean, you know, the amount of times that you and I have actually been together in the same room is on one hand, but you know, we know each other so well that because we continuously keep our connection going digitally through Zoom, through WhatsApp and things like that. So it's the power of it all coming together. So you've given a couple, it's relationships. And so you've given a couple of tips about, you know, having your tribe and asking questions of people and asking for advice. What's another quick tip you could give women who are sitting there thinking, oh, that's really nice for you, Jenny, but I couldn't do that?
Well, it's hard because I was like that too. Oh, that's great. That's great. It's the belief. It's the belief in yourself. You've got to dig deep to get that belief.
Yeah.
And I was told, you know, you believe in other people, then why don't you believe in yourself?
Oh, yeah. Back at you.
That's a big tip, is to dig down. And then what I did, I write, I'm an avid writer. I mean, I've written notes here just about our little interview. I write everything down. So that's my way of connecting, of encouraging myself, is to write things down. And then once I put that thought on paper, I read it back to myself. And I put Post-it notes up everywhere, my affirmations up on my bathroom mirror. Nice. And I've actually put them behind me now. It says, I live your most authentic life. Nice. And I've underlined it. So it's the belief in yourself. And once you read those little affirmations every day, Jen, you start to really believe it. And I sit up taller and more confident. And that's a tip I have for other people, is to, even if it's writing a Post-it note on your bathroom mirror saying, I am enough. Yeah. I am a great project manager. I am a great role model. I'm a good mum. Yeah. I bake biscuits beautifully. You know, anything.
Yeah, I love it. And so what you're doing is you're becoming your own best friend and your own coach. So you've got other people around you that are good friends and coaches, but then we've got to do it for ourselves.
Well, you know what? I mean, I've had my ups and downs for sure, and it's all here. I can't do this. What am I doing? I'm nuts. Nobody will use my services. And what am I going to do? And you know what? That self-talk to yourself is the worst thing you could possibly do. And I've often said to my NAWIC colleagues and my NAWIC network is that, you know, would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. I like that question, because gnarly. It's in there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once again, it goes back to that self-belief.
Yeah.
And that's a big tip I have for anybody who's thinking about doing something brave.
Yeah.
You have that self-belief, and then get your affirmations, get those people to go, you know what, we're your biggest cheerleaders and you can do this.
Yeah.
There is no risk until you have the risk up, you know,
It's imagined.
subsided.
Yeah.
It's in your
Yeah.
head. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. There's so many nuggets in there. Before we sign off, I just would like you to give a little bit of your pitch for your business, because you are a startup, and you know, people are, you know, Nawak women know people who need your services. So what services are you looking for right now?
Okay, well, thanks, Jen. So it's She Property Care, and it's my website's called she.kiwi.
We're putting it down there.
She.kiwi. And what I do is I do Auckland wide, so it's property maintenance and repairs. So I've discovered that my speciality is deck refreshing and repairs.
Cool.
I know.
Who knew?
I know, so I just love it. So going onto people's sites, yards, looking at, I do water blasting, I do house washes, I do gutter cleaning, I do small jib repairs, you know, deck refurbishments, I do landscaping as well. So anything that requires that woman's touch and finesse and treating your home like it was my home, that's what I do best. And
that's amazing.
Referrals, and also to add to my team as well, I've got one awesome lady who works for me, and her name's Melissa, and she's just fantastic. And I said to her, she's never actually had a job, but she's had 8 kids.
Wow.
So, I know. So she said, look, I've never had a job. I said, well, you know what, you've got time management, project management, discipline, and you know exactly what between right and wrong. She goes, yeah, I do. So I said to her, look, it's my priority to keep her employed, to keep her as busy as possible. And Jen, she looked at me and she said to me, in her whole life, no one has ever said that she was a priority.
Wow. And that's your vision. That's your vision. I remember you sharing the vision of, so not only are you providing these services, but by helping you get more of those services on board, you're going to be able to provide more work for these women like her. So look, you know, if you can help Jenny out on her mission, it's a mission, not just a business. There's a whole mission that's an extension of what Jenny did in Nawak, and we love it. I think it's fantastic. It's inspiring. And thank you for taking the time tonight to join us in your beautiful She Property hoodie. And we thank everybody for listening. And remember, if you want to find Jenny, you can find her below on the website. So thanks, Jenny, for joining us.
Thank
you.
Thanks
so everybody for listening.
Ka kite ana. Join now. You'll never regret it.
Yes, join now.